You getting cereal too? What time is stuff out of? What are y'all doing? Who's eating chips? And why do you smell like chips right now? Give me a rag. Yeah, clean rag. What? Because there's chips all over this all that. What the hell is this, man? What y'all doing, man? So what you got? You said you got these cereal too? Yeah. Thank yeah, just put it on the you know.
One of the biggest rats in Memphis has accepted his fate for his role in the murder of Memphis legend Young Dolph after apparently he ran out of people to snitch on. Quick pause, because this might actually help you out. If you've ever needed access to your money before payday, there's a
Damn,
banking
say I
app
think he
called
ran out
Current
of
that
people
lets
to
you get up
snitch
to
on.
$750 as a paycheck
Damn.
advance once you qualify. So instead of waiting for payday, you can get access to your funds earlier when you actually need them. Paycheck advance is clearly my favorite part, and I'm sure will be yours too. But if you're trying to build your credit or just want your direct deposit sooner, it handles all of that in one app. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you straight to the sign up page where you can create an account. Just go through the normal sign up steps, enter your information, and order your current card. After you complete those steps, you'll see the option to enter my promo code Jake1090, which unlocks the $75 bonus. If you ever feel like managing money is stressful or tight sometimes, it's definitely worth just checking more on gunmen who would let it out the broad day shooting back in 2021. Law enforcement would let it be known within a week of his arrest. Before a deal was ever on the table, Korn made it clear he wanted to cooperate. And cooperate he did. He didn't just admit to his role, he was testifying on everybody involved. In 2024, Cornelius testified against the other shooter, Justin Johnson. He'd state Hernandez Govan approached him about carrying out the killing. Smith agreed to participate for money that was to be paid through Hernandez Govan. He and Justin drove to the bakery in a white Mercedes, spotting Dolph's camel Corvette parked outside. They'd exit the vehicle, opening fire with a Glock and Draco. According to Dolph's autopsy report, he was hit a total of 22 times in a span of just a few seconds. His list of injuries would be pages long, detailing gunshot wounds to his forehead, chin, neck, chest, arms, and back. And obviously a Glock is gonna hold a pistol caliber, but a Draco, even though it's a pistol, fires rifle rounds. These are the same rounds that comes out of a full-sized AK-47. These are 7.62. If you've seen something be hit by a 7.62. You can just imagine the damage that was done to Dolph. Hopefully this was a fast and painless death, but this man was hit all over and they literally just destroyed him. Korn would later help dispose of evidence and clean down the getaway vehicle that was later recovered. He further testified he expected to be paid for his work and that Govan would be the one to deliver the money. $100,000 was the price on Young Dolph's head. $40,000 was Korn's take, but Cornelius would only receive a total of $800 in 2 separate payments. At one time he was sent $500, at another time he was sent $300. So clearly times were tough for Young Dolph's ops. And keep this in mind, I don't think I've covered a case in which a bag has been put up on somebody, they got killed, and the shooters actually received the money. So for y'all young dumb motherfuckers out there that watch these videos and think, oh, we can go get 100K if we crash out real quick but get away with it, I don't know anyone that's actually gotten the money. It seems to play out like once somebody gets spanked and then everything is going down, the case is hot and people are trying to figure it out, the dude that offered you the money in the beginning doesn't want shit to do with you and is trying to get as far away as he can because he knows everything is coming down. With Cornelius testifying and an overwhelming amount of evidence on top of that, Justin Johnson was sentenced to life in prison plus 35 years, just in case life wasn't enough. You know, maybe he like dies and comes back. They made sure he still got another 35. The following year in 2025, Cornelius would testify against Hernandez Govan, the man he claimed organized the hit and was supposed to pay the fee. See, at this point, Korn was working against everyone to secure himself an easy way out when it came to trial, but his plan would backfire. Even with Korn testifying, Hernandez Govan would still be found not guilty. Even with Korn saying Govan gave them the guns to be used, he'd still be found not guilty. His lawyer questioned the police investigation and the validity of cell phone communications between Govan and the shooters. They argued nothing in those communications directly incriminated Govan or tied him to the killing, and the jury agreed. Now at this point, Cornelius must have been shitting himself because he was willing to throw everyone under the bus to essentially save himself. He was willing to throw the shooter under the bus. He was willing to throw Hernandez Govan under the bus. Whoever he could tell on, he was gonna tell on to save himself, but the shit didn't work. Like, he tried to put Govan away for life in prison, and this motherfucker walks and starts doing Vlad TV interviews.
All right, here we go. Today we have Hernandez Govan, who just was found not guilty by a Memphis jury of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder for the killing of young Dolph. Today he joins us to do his first interview after the case. Hernandez, welcome to Vlad TV.
Appreciate you for having me.
Govan's lawyer even painted Korn in court as an unreliable witness who would say anything to try and get a lighter sentence. He'd point out how Cornelius originally said Yo Gotti's brother Big Jook was the one who hired him for the hit, but after he was arrested, his lawyer called Jook's lawyer and received somewhere between $38,000 to $50,000 in cash. Cornelius later testified he didn't know where the money came from. So understand what I just read to y'all. Cornelius had his lawyer reach out to Big Jook, Yo Gotti's brother, Big Jook's lawyer. They sent an undisclosed amount of money between $30,000 to $50-something thousand, which is essentially what he was supposed to be paid for the hit. So imagine you go and kill somebody and you're supposed to be paid $40K, and instead of getting that $40K, you get hit with 40 charges because now they got you for murder, they got you for the weapons, they got you for anything, and then dude that owes you the money gives it to your lawyer to fight the case. So now it ain't even about the money, it's about beating the case and you walking for free, so really you just did all this shit for nothing. Korn also would claim he heard Govan was working for the FBI, which made absolutely no sense as to why Korn would take a hit from him. Because if I think you work for the feds, why would I be willing to take $100,000 hit, go kill someone?
No. I'm not gonna say it don't make no sense, cause some people think, hey, he working for the Fed. I'm good. If I do this for them, they ain't gonna come looking for me. You know what I'm saying? So nah, it makes sense.
For you, expect the 40K and you not to tell on me. The whole shit just wasn't making sense. This is like a situation when a dumb motherfucker tries to outsmart people because he thinks he's smarter than what he is. With his testimony being picked apart, Cornelius was out of options because he couldn't even snitch on Big Jook since they already killed him. So on May 15th, 2026, Cornelius Smith agreed to a plea deal to put an official end to the Young Dolph murder case.
Yes, sir. This is State of Tennessee versus Cornelius Smith. This indictment 2204769. Matter that's been pending in this court for some time. I think it also has been the subject of a couple trials for the co-defendants. Mr. Smith will plead guilty to the offense of murder, second degree, a Class A felony as included under count 1 of the indictment. 20 years confinement as a 100% violent offender. This served Tennessee Department of Corrections. Taken into consideration in this plea is Mr. Smith's cooperation in this matter from the time of his arrest until now. Mr. Smith has cooperated fully in the prosecution, first Justin Johnson, and then another co-defendant. Taken in consideration is his truthful testimony in those cases.
Corn would agree to serve 20 years in Tennessee State Prison at 100%. He'd receive credit for his time in jail, giving him about 4.5 years off his sentence.
Yeah.
So in total, Corn has to serve 15 years and 7 months. And at 36 years old, that puts him at about 51 years old when he'll be released. It's hard to imagine he'll have an easy bit as he's made himself an enemy to everyone involved.
Everybody, yeah.
Not only is he responsible for killing Dolph, he's responsible for putting away Dolph's other killer and attempting to put away another man who was found innocent. So it sounds like when he goes to prison, he could get stabbed from any direction, because he's made himself an enemy to everybody, not even including just the people that were involved in the situation, but he's a stone cold rat.
Yeah.
He killed someone, told on everybody, tried to take down as many people as he could to save himself some time. Essentially, he got a good deal in the case. He was given 20 years with credit, so he only has to serve 15 and a half.
Ain't that a bitch?
He got a good deal, and everybody's gonna want to put him in the fucking ground, because not only are you responsible for taking out a Memphis legend, you're responsible for putting away his ops who have just as much money backing
getting off
them.
with ease.
This is a crazy situation. I don't know how Tennessee State Prison works with PC, if he'll actually be kept away or if they're just gonna put him in the jungle and he's just gotta last. We know he's a killer. We know he's essentially bout the shit. But is he gonna be all of that in prison outnumbered? Because it's hard to imagine anyone is gonna rock behind him knowing that he cooperated. While Justin Johnson, the other shooter, he never snitched. From my understanding, he kept it solid and took the case to the chin. He's just never coming home, which, like, fuck him, you know? I'm a Dolph fan. I'm gonna be biased in this situation. Fuck him. But it is what it is when you speak in prison politics. That rat shit doesn't slide. But again, this is important for the young dummies out there. This dude wasn't that young when he took this case, when he took this hit, I should say. He was in his 30s. He was just broke as fuck. And this is how people with money will play chess. They will use pawns. They will use expendable people. He's broke as fuck. He never had nothing. I'm gonna give him 40K. It's gonna change his fucking life. I'm not even gonna give him the 40K. I'm just gonna tell him I'll give him the 40K. And because he's never had nothing and he knows this amount of money would change his life, he's willing to go and end someone else's life. And it's the same thing with y'all young people out there. $40,000 sounds rich to y'all, when in reality, $40,000 isn't shit. That's a
That shit
monthly
ain't
payment
nothing.
for some YouTubers.
Oh
So
God.
if you really want to get on your grind, stop doing what
that's
I'm
a
doing.
fact.
But if YouTube ain't your thing and you'd rather be a crash dummy, well, this is how it plays out. You take the hit, you do the hit, you get caught, your boy tells on you, you get life. Or you take the hit, you do the hit, you get caught, snitch on everybody, and still get 15 years in prison.
Still get 15 years.
I think being a YouTuber sounds a whole lot better than that. So, with that being said, y'all listen to these stories and get something out of them. Don't just listen to it because you want to hear about somebody getting killed and somebody getting sent away. These are real life stories. This shit is not a movie. It's entertainment for some of y'all, but don't be entertained, be educated. Take something away from this when these videos end. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in one of these situations. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, y'all rocking with me.
For sure.
Until next time.
For sure. Crazy, bro. Damn, that shit wild. And the thing, like, bro is that shit crazy. That shit crazy. Rest in peace, dog, man. Hey, man, some people feel like, they got to handle their business however they got to handle it, bro. That's street politics. You know what I mean? That's street politics, and unfortunately above my pay grade. But at the same time, I can say, yo, man, you got to be smart in this shit. You got to be smart in this shit, cause they're tricky. They're tricky. They're tricky. You know what I mean? You thinking, oh, he the feds, he work with the feds, I'm good. No, ain't the feds ain't good with nobody. But they real blood, and half the time they ain't real with them. They'll goddamn knock their ass off for a little piece of something. They this shit ain't. This ain't what you think, bro. It ain't what you think. This shit ain't what you think of this shit. So, you come out here the bullshitting and playing and all this bullshitting around. You gonna understand, gang. You gonna understand.
Chud the Builder, the racist, rage-baiting IRL streamer from Tennessee, is in some trouble after shooting a man, shooting himself, and being arrested for it all. Now, before we start this video, I want to make it clear we do not condone or promote racism in any way, shape, or form on this channel.
Understood.
And I have carefully edited this video to comply with all of YouTube's very strict policies. So hopefully this doesn't get demonetized for any reason, because all we are doing is providing commentary and going over what people shouldn't do. Quick pause, because this might actually help you out. If you've ever needed access to your money before payday, there's a banking app called Current that lets you get up.
Now, hold on, y'all.
to $750 as a paycheck advance once you qualify. So instead of waiting for payday, you can get access to your funds earlier when you actually need them. Paycheck advance is clearly my favorite part, and I'm sure will be yours too. But if you're trying to ban the QR stats to enter I feel like manually would. May 13th, 2026, it was 1:20 in the afternoon when law enforcement responded to the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville, Tennessee, after reports of shots fired. Arriving on scene, they'd find two men shot who were fighting each other when one drew a gun, shooting the other and himself in the process. Immediately, social media exploded as the shooter was identified as none other than 28-year-old Dalton Etherly, aka Chud the Builder. The IRL streamer known for rage baiting the public with racial slurs and his catchphrase, "They're chimping out."
Usual suspect.
And I'ma show you. Don't say a mother thing to my kids.
I wonder who pissed her off. She's chimping out. Chimping out.
Yeah, man. Don't say to my kids.
She's chimping out.
Now this video would clearly show a woman enraged, but wouldn't show the interaction leading up to it.
Right.
Without full context, Chud would post the video attempting to push stereotypes and promote prejudice as he says the usual suspects. But in this next video, Chud would blatantly use the N-word and show everyone the type of person he is.
You know, my favorite line from the news is, you got freedom of speech, you just don't have the freedom of consequences from your speech. It's like telling an inmate, hey, you got the freedom to leave your jail cell, you just don't have the freedom of consequence. Hey, you got the freedom to speak, but we're gonna threaten you with deadly violence if you do use that freedom. Hey, you got the freedom to leave your jail cell, but we're gonna threaten you with deadly violence if you do use that freedom. It doesn't sound like the inmate's very free. Oh, well, we all know that because he's an inmate. Oh, but it doesn't sound like the white man's very free. You're gonna threaten me with deadly...
He ain't saying shit important. He just talking. He sounding so stupid. He just talking about nothing. Cause I ain't never heard no black person say that shit. So he just talking. He just saying shit.
Violence? You're gonna threaten to starve my family and my company? Am I really free to do that? And if I'm not free, then why are we not fighting for our freedoms back? Are we just okay with losing our freedoms as white people?
A weak attempt at justifying racism with freedom of speech. Comparing himself to an inmate who lacks freedom because he receives threats for being blatantly racist and disrespectful just shows you how weak Chud or Dalton really is. Because Dalton is the type of person that wants the ability to bully without the consequence of getting beat. To further prove this point, Chud would go out of his way to target and disrespect any black person he thought he could get a reaction from, hoping for a viral moment he could monetize and profit off. And he would do this by claiming he was exercising his freedom of speech protected by his First Amendment. But when he ran into someone who was not only willing to defend himself, but to actually fight, Chud hid behind the Second Amendment, his right to bear arms.
He chimping out. He said, what's the issue? Because I looked at him.
Chimping out?
He chimping out.
Put that phone down. Put
Why?
that phone down.
You don't like looking ugly?
Put that phone down, bitch ass boy.
Shut up. Come on, come do something. Come do something.
Put that phone
Pull
down.
up.
Oh, he got found.
Yeah, walk up.
Alright.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, alright.
They chimping out. They chimping out. They parked in the fire lane, chimping out. They mad because I'm holding my shit.
I'm right here.
You better get out my face.
I'm right here.
Get out my face, boy.
So Chud wasn't just rage baiting the public, he was provoking while armed, waiting for someone to assault him so he had the so-called legal excuse to defend himself by shooting them. But legally, that isn't stand your ground. Tennessee is very similar to where I live at, Florida. Florida is very similar to Texas. All three of these states share the stand your ground law. But one of the little conditions for stand your ground is you cannot lawfully stand your ground if you provoked the confrontation.
Yeah. Come do something. Come do something. Pull up.
Oh, he got found.
Yeah, walk up.
So for example, you can't tell somebody fuck you, and when they say they're gonna do something or they call you this and that, you say try me. Touch me, hit me, swing, I bet you won't. That's provoking. Somebody does something to you and then you pop them? That's not self-defense. You caused that. Chud would post his version of events to Twitter stating, "They are parking in the fire lane, chimps blaring music and dancing outside of the car. Got mad at me when I walked by with visible disgust. Proceeded to chimp out through the entire store. Usual suspects, plus 100 fatigue." This post would get over 4.8 million views, and some of Chud's videos would reach tens of millions of views. He'd follow up with a video addressing those who called him out for hiding behind a gun, telling him to try his antics without one.
The chimps keep saying, "Why do you need the gun though? Leave the gun at home." Why do I need a gun? To protect myself while just simply existing as a free man. I can say what I want. We can say whatever we want. This is America. You shouldn't react with a chimp out or violent aggression, threats of deadly violence. That just proves our point. Oh, do this without the gun though. Hey cowboy, leave your gun at home and then come out in the street and do a duel. What are you, dumb? The cowboy's always got his gun. Are you stupid? You're a bitch. No, you are. You're chimping out because I'm a free man and you're mad. I don't know who you are. Y'all know who I am.
And if it wasn't a gun he relied on,
What? What are you talking about? Yeah, you're a bitch. Yeah, you're a bitch. Yeah, you running your mouth, but you won't say it without the pistol. Yeah, you're a bitch. That don't got nothing to do with a cowboy. A cowboy will run his mouth with or without his pistol. That's the difference, gang. Oh, he never comes. Yeah, a cowboy come out with a motherfucking knife on your bitch ass. You ain't no cowboy, gang. Stop relating. It's nothing the same. You ain't built like that. That's the difference, gang. A cowboy is built like that. You ain't built like that. Yeah, you won't. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point of it, gang. That's the point. Yeah, cowboys. Yeah, they fist fight without they put the gun down and fist fight, gang, with spurs on their boots. You ain't willing to do that. So that's the point. You're not a cowboy. You're Chud the fucking stud. You're a fucking bitch, gang. You should have a pussy between your legs. You remind me of the racist girl that just got herself canceled, begging for money on the internet after her racist antics. See where that got her at? You don't see her pull up in the meter no more, ain't it? Oh, okay.
it was mace, because spraying people was another way he could bring in even more views, equaling more money. So again, he'd target whoever he thought would react, even preying on the homeless in a park.
A constitutional right to record. I don't need to ask you if I can exercise my freedom.
Tell us to record anybody though.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Y'all gotta learn the law.
No, well,
Y'all gotta learn the law.
If somebody
Don't walk up on me. Stay right there.
What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Walk anywhere in
Keep coming up.
We gonna punch me? Walk anywhere in public.
I'm gonna mace your ass real quick.
Mace? Oh, is that all? So you're one of those guys?
I'll spray the shit out you. Yeah.
I would rather you punch me in my face.
Just learn how to act, bro.
Learn how to act. Learn how to ask. Learn how to ask.
Why are you acting like a right now?
Acting like a what?
You heard me. Sit down.
Oh, sit down. If I stand up, what's the penalty?
Come on. Look at him.
If I stand up, what's the penalty?
Y'all need to learn how to act.
Don't make it move, man.
Y'all need to learn how. We can record all we want around here.
Record it, brother, man.
Now Chud would get called out for his antics.
Leave you alone, you racist predator piece of shit! I want you because you're a fucking racist predator piece of shit!
And the police would speak with him numerous times, but
Bruh, girls on your ass. You're a lame, gang. You're a bitch, gang. You're a bitch. That point of the matter, you're a bitch, gang.
of course he'd play victim.
If what you're doing is going around using racial slurs and profanity, that's a little different.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Are you gonna argue that in court? Because I walked into the gas station and walked out. Okay. And as I'm walking to my truck, I turn around, he's got something behind his back that looks like a gun. It's a drill.
Well, they're saying that.
So I don't give a fuck what they're saying. It's all recorded.
I got you.
And it's live streamed.
I know. I got you. And I'm just telling you.
And I have every right to say whatever I want on the internet without being chimped out on in public.
See, Big Bad Chud is really insecure Dalton, who once looked like Bieber. Mugshots from when he was 18 and 19 would reveal a chubbier face, and he'd even address old photos of him saying posting the pics of the old fat me. I lost 150 pounds and reshaped my entire body years before Ozempic was ever heard of. They want you to stay fat and low T. They are afraid of what you could become. What this tells me is Chud most likely got on testosterone, lost a baby face, grew a mustache and muscles, and felt the confidence he never had as a youth. But this would also explain his fixation with bullying. It's nothing more than a reflection of his insecurities, and while now he might look like Chud, in the back of his head, he forever feels like Dalton, so he has to bully people to feed his ego to make himself feel better. Now, the name Chud the Builder apparently comes from the fact that he owned a contracting company, but his racist rants would completely put him out of business, so he'd start a Give Send Go account in an attempt to raise $100,000. The post would state, "Dear friends, supporters, and champions of free speech, my name is Dalton Etherly, and I'm reaching out with a heavy heart, fighting to protect my family and my business. Just over 1 year ago, I started DLE contracting in Clarksville, Tennessee out of sheer necessity. I was fired from my previous contracting job after BLM activists targeted me over words I shared online. Jokes and opinions they twisted to end my career. With no other way to support my family and my precious 2-year-old son, I poured everything into..."
And that's what I'm saying, bro. I've been said this, bro. I've been said this, bro. That be the thing. A lot of y'all ass be broke for real. A lot of y'all ass be broke for real. Find a little community that's just like you and let them boost your imaginary ego that you think you got. Let them boost it, gang, and then you think, bro, you think you just eat like you just super elite. It don't work like that, bro. You're fucking broke for real with no time. You don't have, bro, you have nothing in the world to do. And you're broke for real. I don't that's what I'm saying. I don't be understanding that, bro. You're online begging for a fucking a GoFundMe. Bro, you know how many times I done went piss poor broke and never GoFundMe been around for a little minute now, bro. GoFundMe been around for a little minute. Bro, I done been broke a million times since GoFundMe uh, even thought about touching the surface. I ain't never created one. Never. I never created one. Y'all broke for real with no time, and you got nothing to do. You have nothing to do. You don't have no special skill. You didn't put your talents into nothing else. You're lame for real. Go find you something to do. That shit weak as fuck. That shit weak. That shit is weak. Who the fuck? I'm gonna sit on the internet. I'm gonna make up my whole page is just dedicated to hating you because you look like this. I don't give a fuck. You got nothing to do with me. You have nothing to do with me. You're not in my everyday talk. I don't like. That's why I'm not understanding why people ain't like who you only like, bro. You make yourself you make yourself look weird, bro. We don't care about that. We don't care. We simply do not care.
This small business, working tirelessly to provide for my family and build a future. But now, that dream is under attack. Not for the quality of my work, but for what I say online. I've shared mild jokes, unfiltered thoughts, and yes, sometimes I've used the N-word in what I thought was edgy, harmless humor. I know it's controversial, but it's my right to speak freely. For that, hundreds of people in my city are slandering my business, spreading lies to tear down everything I've worked for. The hate has escalated to a horrifying level. I've received death threats so vile they shake me to my core. People threatening to grape and murder me.
This is why you ain't a cowboy. This is why you can't relate yourself to no cowboy, dude. cowboys don't act tough and then get in that bar and then oh wait till the sheriff come in and oh see those guys over there? Yeah, they're talking bad about me. They said they would kill me. Yeah, bro. But you came here talking tough before the sheriff came in. What? You're not a cowboy, dude. Stop it. That shit, this shit is embarrassing, really. Your wife, your baby mama, whoever she is, should be embarrassed with your stupid ass.
Even targeting my innocent 2-year-old son with unspeakable cruelty. As a father, hearing these threats against my little boy breaks my heart and keeps me up at night. In the midst of this nightmare, a spark of hope emerged. I went viral on Instagram, gaining over 23,000 followers who connect with my story, my resilience, and my refusal to be silenced. People are beginning to stand up for American ideals and values. This platform is a chance to turn things around, but right now, I'm broke. This slander has crushed my business's income, and I'm struggling to keep food on the table, pay our bills, and protect my family from this onslaught. I need your help to bridge this gap and rebuild. Your donation will go toward covering basic living expenses to keep my family secure, exploring legal options to fight the slander and protect my family from these vicious threats, find new ways to create a sustainable income for me and my family. This isn't just about money, it's about standing up to a mob, trying to destroy not just my family's future over words, but our rights to free speech as a whole. If you've ever felt silenced, attacked, or punished for your beliefs, you know this fight. My business, only a year old, was born from necessity after I was canceled once before, and now I'm facing it again. With your support, I can rise above this hate, provide for my family, and prove that cancel culture won't break us. Every dollar, every share, every prayer means the world to us. Thank you for standing with my family in this battle for freedom and survival. With gratitude, Dalton Etherly, aka Chud the Builder. Once again, playing the victim, Chud would try to market his downfall as being silenced, attacked.
It's weirdo. That's weirdo shit. Like, that's weirdo shit. You been a weirdo.
And stripped of his rights. He was attempting to play the martyr in the hopes that like-minded people would rally behind him, and some fell for the play. Chud was already facing criminal charges for harassment, and his public defender would withdraw from the case after discovering Chud raised over $40,000, and Chud's donations have now passed over $60,000. And the whole time, reading through his well thought out speech, whatever you want to call it, right? Hearing how people have targeted him for mild jokes that he said online, things that weren't meant to be taken as so serious. He might have said the N-word, but it wasn't nothing that nobody should be offended to the point that they ruin his business, right? And his First Amendment has been attacked, his freedom of speech. But you know what other right he had the whole entire time? The right to shut the fuck up. Exactly. The entire time. This man,
the entire time, like,
to shut the fuck up and get offline. And if you can clearly see that what you're doing is building a hate train of people that do not like that shit, why would you continue to do it? I should have the right to piss off a bunch of people, but y'all shouldn't have the right to be upset with me. So when your reviews go so bad, your business tanks, you want to blame it on the people, but not take responsibility for the shit you spewed into the world. It doesn't work like that. Again, people love being able to do what they want, but they want to be able to pick the consequence with intent to threaten bodily harm. Series finale is dead chimp on the pavement and you monkeys rioting while I walk free. Stay tuned. Now this message right here, it's a clear indication of he knew exactly where this was going and he was still continuing to incite it. This is pouring gas on a fire. You know how this is gonna end. You know eventually someone's gonna try to do something, and you've played it so many times in your mind, you're gonna pull out and shoot them. You're gonna pull out and shoot them. You're literally saying it online. If you threaten me with harm, with violence, I'm gonna defend myself with lethal force. This whole time you were looking for an excuse to hurt somebody because of whatever hurt you had inside of you that you felt you needed to project all of this negativity. Chud had also recently been arrested after being kicked out of a restaurant and refusing to pay for appetizers. And apparently he'd be visited by the FBI, who warned him about what he was doing and the possibility of what could happen. So he talked about it. The FBI came and saw him and were like, look, what you're doing could potentially cause riots. What you're doing could potentially get you hurt or lead to you hurting somebody. They knew what was gonna happen, literally, before it happened. And it's just like, was there no legal thing that they could have done to intervene in this situation? Because when you have somebody, right, there's a lot of laws in which they can easily disarm people. If there's a mental health situation going on, they can disarm you, right? Because you have to qualify mentally to a mental capacity to even own or possess firearms. So when you see somebody inciting shit, when you see somebody provoking people, is there not a law in which you can disarm that person, which would essentially stop them from doing that shit? Or is that getting into the line of, oh, the government's just gonna use that as a means of disarming the people? Because I don't agree with that. I support the Second Amendment 100%, even though I lost my right to bear arms when I was convicted of a felony. I don't have that right, but I 100% support everyone else's right to defend themselves and their family. But when you're purposely provoking and inciting a situation in which your whole game plan is to shoot someone when they try you, the thing I don't like about it is, it shows you're a bitch with a gun. And 9 times out of 10, the softest, scariest person is the first one to shoot.
Hey, Jake funny as hell for this shit.
Because the power behind that gun, that's the cause of you doing this shit. The empowerment. It's no different than a corrupt cop putting on that badge and belt. All of a sudden their shit just got this much bigger because they have this power. And that's the same thing he was acting like. So when he's stripped of that, how is he as a man? Is he gonna stand 10 toes with all these people and talk how he talks? Or is he gonna fold because he no longer has that power? Well, the same day of the shooting, Chud posted to Twitter reenacting to a video of DJ Academics speaking with Sneeko, and Chud would say, "Insane, the FBI interviews me for not paying for 2 appetizers that I didn't get to finish before being rudely kicked out of the restaurant. However, blacks can actively call for people to blow my brains out, and they give 0 fucks."
Trump went out there and like clapped that nigga from Iran, that fucking supreme leader. That might have to be Chud. Get him out the way, because he's trying to start some shit. We ain't trying to do it.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see people die over a word.
Well, he problematic. We might like somebody might have to just do it. I don't care who do it. Black, white, who cares?
I can't. I don't want to see people die for a stupid reason.
DJ Academic is funny.
Like, advocating for violence is not the way. If
nobody wants to prevent race. He's the violent one. You don't realize he's the violent one?
Isn't he majority acting in? He's acting in self-defense, right?
Fuck no. Do you see what he's saying? He's daring people to do something.
Words aren't violent, Words aren't violent.
Your rhetoric could be insightful.
Now, I personally don't agree with academics saying what someone should and shouldn't do, and including himself in the situation by saying we. Because at the end of the day, that could be blowback for him that I'm sure he didn't mean. When someone is doing shit like this, and specifically targeting a certain community, I could understand him being upset.
Act funny as hell.
For extreme violence in that situation, and I don't want someone to do something I'm not willing to do myself. But there was a man outside of that courtroom who was willing to risk it all, even his own life, and he decided to put hands on Chud. Now, luckily, the shooting victim would survive, and no one else should fall victim to Chud's trap, as Montgomery sheriffs have announced he's been charged with attempted murder, employing a firearm during a dangerous felony, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a weapon. Under Tennessee law, attempted murder carries up to 25 years. Employing a firearm during a dangerous felony is up to 15 years, with a mandatory minimum of 6. Aggravated assault is another 15, and reckless endangerment with a weapon is up to 6. So at max, Chud the Builder is now facing 61 years in Tennessee State Prison. The man who tried to align racism with freedom of speech and act hard while hiding behind a gun is now in jail, where his supply of testosterone is no longer. Each day incarcerated, Chud will slowly turn back into Dalton, and we all know he isn't going to be in general population. He's going to be tucked away in protective custody, because now he doesn't have his gun to hide behind. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is Tennessee. This is the South we're talking about. I don't know about Montgomery County specifically, how that jail is, but Tennessee State Prison, yeah, he ain't gonna be the majority in there at fucking all. I'm gonna be honest with you, California made a hell of a name for like the white racist people inside of prisons, but in the South, that shit just holds no weight. White people are a minority. The only reason the numbers say otherwise is because they classify Latinos as white when they go to prison. There's so many. You can go on the Florida Department of Corrections website, you'll see a full-blown Mexican man and it's gonna say white. Cuban, white. Puerto Rican, maybe something else. But for the most part, they fuck those numbers up. So it'll say there's a huge white population, but when you're in there, it's a whole nother ball game. And I guarantee you that Dalton is not going to be that way inside of there. The way he hides behind the law, the way he hides behind the Second Amendment, he hides behind this, he hides behind that. He's not going to stand on business and walk around saying that shit inside of jail, because they're going to be popping on him left and right, unless he's in an all-white.
And then, with now how it's going now, y'all know everybody in jail and prison got phones. So, they seeing it, boy. They knowing who you is. The world know who you is.
Dorm. Prison? It ain't going to happen like that. And because of the notoriety in this case, they might have placed him in protective custody just so he doesn't fall victim inside of there, depending on how that jail is. I'm not familiar with it. I don't know. I don't see him acting like that when it's just him with no weapon to defend himself with. But like I said, I don't condone any of this. Looking at him, you can tell he definitely got on some juice to get that size. All of a sudden, he's just yoked up with this fucking cowboy mustache. And you can tell it's usually the people like that that are the most insecure. It like never fails. It's like when you see a truck, right? You see this fucking Ford, whatever, or a TRX truck fly by you. And it's like jacked up, whatever, rims is crazy, and then when they pull up and get out, the guy's like 5'2". You know what I mean? Like the insecurities just show. So when you see somebody who's juiced up, acting like they're big and bad, usually they're trying to make up and compensate for something else. And this situation, I hope the man that swung on him doesn't get charged. I hope he doesn't, to be honest with you, because he was provoked like everyone else was provoked. And he swung a punch that every single person that Chud Dalton previously recorded, ridiculed, provoked, incited, that man swung for everybody. And I applaud him for that. He's got some balls. Because if he knew who he was, he knows he had it on him. And he used it. And that man took a bullet for the people. But hey, let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comments section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. Till next time.
Chud the Stud, you're a fucking clown. I hope they give your ass at least 30 years. I hope you at least get 30. At least 20 for sure. I want you to ask you at least 20 for sure. Just so they can goddamn show you what it's like with a whole bunch of chimps. And not only diggers, excuse me, not only diggers, but your kind. Show you how much of some chimps they is too. Yeah, they got something for you, boy. Yeah, they got something for you. Turn to a drewski on your stupid ass. Turn to a drewski on your stupid ass. Fuck you, Chud Stud. You the fucking dick sucker.